Indy brothers and sisters, Indy Waynes and grannies and grandpas and Indy dubs. Great to see you, a real inclusive movement. And because of that, could we all kind of come down the front and squash up like you like each other? Because I've just heard that the tail of the march is still up the West End. How beautiful. But there's no appetite for independence. So because of that, the guys are still filtering into the park. I'd love to wait till everybody arrives, but we can't. We've got people who have travelled all over Scotland. We've got a snotty council that are wanting us to take tents down and things like that. So we need to get a show on the road. So we're going to do that. We're going to kick off in style with Clanadonia. In a wee minute, they're going to do a few numbers for us, and then we're going to come back towards the end and do a few more numbers. Just in the meantime though, just to keep things going smoothly, if there's a first aider nearby, could you come down backstage? It's not an emergency. Just a wee... Manny's got a scalp. Aye, so if you could come down, I don't know if Sean's in the house or what. Also, if Craig Murray's kicking about, Craig, do you want to come down and we'll get you up ASAP? We've got a couple of big name SNP speakers straight after the Clanadonia guys. And we'll get some great speakers and some great musicians and songwriters through the course of the afternoon. It's a nice day, it's as good as it gets. It's as good as it gets. There's toilets at the People's Palace, there's toilets at the Barras, there's burger vans nearby. We'll just settle down and we're going to have a good couple of hours in each other's company. To kick you off, Clanadonia.
Spanish eyes. But today we'll call it Catalonia eyes. Whoa! Oh, you want to see it from here? I can't swear there's wains here, but it looks... Oi! What's your race? It looks brilliant, honestly. It's great to be in amongst your own. Just beautiful looking.
But in the meantime, that's the van over there, that white van. go over and buy a CD or two and they'll autograph it, so they will. Yeah. There was also, we've got some news about a track that they're doing as well. Oh, sack it, I'll just tell you now. Not only the guys gave up their time today to come and open and close the show for us, but a lot of bands have got gigs and stuff on a Saturday, could be away busking somewhere. Not only they do that, they've actually written and recording a track called Unite the Clans. And they're going to release this track, and every penny from it is going to go to Underf too. Okay? So there's a band putting their money where their mouth is and supporting us. Just all you guys today have put your money where your mouths are and have gave up and sacrificed and travelled. So yeah, payback, support the guys. Okay, at this point in the proceedings we were supposed to have the 3 SNP deputy candidates. They'd all agreed to come, and then they all changed their minds for whatever reason. But thankfully a couple of other SNP big hitters have stepped up in their place. The first person has marched all the way from her own constituency to be here, as she does every time we've got a march, a great supporter of the movement, and doesn't take no orders from nobody about turning up. She comes when she wants to, which is why she's deliberately making a point of slowly sauntering up to the stage here. Come on, Sandra. I'm not doing what any man tells me. Sandra, right?
Hopefully you don't break the microphone. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, Scotland! Welcome to Glasgow, the Yes City! And Scotland soon to be the Yes Independent Country! That's why we're here today, and thank you all so much for turning up. We'll need to see the official numbers. We were talking between 40 and 90,000, so we're in between that. So I'll wait for the official numbers to come along. It's really important that we do march, that we show the way forward for Scotland. We don't want the same as Westminster. We don't want the Tories. What do we want? What do we want the Tories to do? Thank you. In the Scottish Parliament, we battle against the Tories every day. But it's not just the Tories we're battling, it's the Labour Party as well. And we need to remember that. We need to remember that their roots are in unionism. And we, as Yes people, have to persuade those, some of them can be persuaded, that they must join the Yes movement. It's the only way forward for Scotland, but it's the only way forward for them as well. Look what's happened in the council elections down south, down in England. The Tories are back in again. Do we want that up here in Scotland? Of course we don't. I've battled with the Tories, the DWP, as others have also. I've watched people who have got no money whatsoever. I've argued against the rape clause. And here we have a Conservative government that's determined to grind the poorest people into the ground. And what we say to them is, enough is enough. Scotland wants to go a different way. We're internationalists. We want independence and we want the good for the people. We don't want Tory policies anymore. What we've got to do is ensure that we work together, ensure that we can do it, and we can. Now we've got the situation where they're challenging the Scottish Parliament and the Scottish Parliament powers. Well, I'll tell you something. I marched as well as others did as well on the days when we didn't have a Parliament, and I'm damn sure they're not going to take it away from me now, and they're not going to take it away from you either. If they get their way, they will have the powers of the Scottish Parliament under lock and key for 7 years. Let's put that in perspective. That's nearly 2 parliamentary terms. And we've got to look at it at that. When it comes to our next election, these powers could be locked away. And what are they going to do about it? We need to ensure that we have another referendum, at least in the next year, in 2019. Now, I'm not talking party politics here, I'm talking me. And I'm talking to people that I meet, the grassroots on the ground. If they take our powers away, we won't have a 2021 election. So we need to get on the ground now and build up the Yes movement to ensure when there's a referendum, we win that referendum. And I'm telling you right now, when I look around here and I see not just the faces, but all the flags, Catalonia, Germany, Scotland, it's unbelievable. We are truly internationalists and we want justice. We want our people to be free and we want our country to flourish. And that's why I'm so pleased to see as many of you here today. We must work as we've never worked before, ensure the Yes movement comes back up, grassroots, not top down, bottom up. That's the way we'll win a referendum. And before I finish and let the next speaker on, I want to say thank you, Catalonia. Vista Catalonia! Vista Catalonia! These people came and helped us. I went over there, I've been over twice, 3 times during the referendum, and they were absolutely wonderful. And we must stand up for them, because justice is at the heart of everything. If we don't stand up for the oppressed, then we will become the oppressed. So let's get out there, let's work, more marches, let's knock doors, get out and about, get there and get that yes vote. 2019, I'm not predicting, but that's what I'd like to see. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Some small, some big, and I tell you, this is a big one. I salute you. You look magnificent from here, and you are still coming in to this park. This is a wonderful demonstration of the aspiration of our people to move forward for their own self-government, and it says above all else, we have not gone away, we are not going away. And I bring you greetings from myself and the Westminster Parliamentary Group and many of my colleagues who are on the march with you today. You sent us down to that Palace of Westminster to fight the Tories in that chamber. It's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it, as they say. And we try and do that day by day and week by week down there on the banks of the River Thames. And I tell you this, as we sit opposite those Tories, we can see the right wing of the Tory party salivating at the moment, glee in their eyes about the possibility that this Brexit nonsense will result in them being able to roll back devolution in Scotland. Because they never wanted it in the first place, they don't want it now, and they will take any opportunity to reverse it. And that is why the current battle between the Scottish Government and the Westminster Government over how powers are exercised when they are repatriated from Brussels is so important. We have offered them the opportunity to work in cooperation, to do the sensible thing, and to allow these powers to come back to Scotland and to be exercised in a partnership with other parts of the United Kingdom where that is necessary and desirable. But that isn't good enough for the Tories. What they want is an arrangement whereby they can tell everyone else what to do, and the needs of Scotland and of Wales and Ireland are subservient to their needs in the Palace of Westminster, and that is not acceptable. And that is why we are fighting to make sure that these policies are reversed. And I'll tell you this, if they don't see sense and come to an agreement with us, then I predict this, that in the months and years to come, on every single one of those policy areas, there will be trench warfare. We will not go away. We will fight them to a standstill to demand our rights to run our services in our own way. Now, folks, this is a time of tremendous political uncertainty. I have never known politics in this country so volatile and so unpredictable. And I know the effect that that is having on the psychology of our movement. I understand that many people feel uncertainty in their own lives, and therefore they don't feel the time is right to move forward to make the next steps in our campaign for independence for our country. But the message we need to put across in the middle of all this chaos is that the best way to remove uncertainty is to take control over your future and your children's future into your own hands. If we do that, then we can be certain that our future is dictated only by the needs of the people who live in this country and not by anybody else. So in the midst of this chaos of Brexit, this is when the phoenix of independence can rise again. And we are now in a preparatory stage. We are between the last referendum and the next one. And we can see from our strength here today that our movement has not gone away, our appetite has not gone away. And as we go forward in this next year and we turn the corner into 2019, we need to be ready. I don't know, it could come at any stage, but we need to get ready now, because we will be called upon to take our country forward in the very near future. And we need to speak to all of those people who were not convinced last time. We need to talk to the 55%. One at a time, bring them over to realise that the best future for themselves and their families is to embrace the cause of self-government and to take power into their own hands. And friends, I want to leave you with two words, two ideas. Things that are thrown against our movement all of the time, and they are separation and solidarity. Our opponents accuse us of being separatists, of wanting to put up barriers, of wanting to walk away. I'll tell you, they would be grateful if we did walk away, but we aren't going anywhere. Our message is that in this part of the island of Britain, the people who live here are the ones who should be in control. And if we get control of our own country, we will use that not just for the benefit of the people who live here, but you can bet that we will demonstrate solidarity with ordinary working people the length and the breadth of this island. And we will use that power to change Britain as well. That is the power that we can unlock with independence. We can not only take control of our own country, but we can make Scotland a force for progress and good in these islands and in this world. Let us go forward. Thank you.
We voted to be fracked, to carpet bomb Iraq. Wasn't me, it wasn't me. We voted to be used as a military base. We asked to keep their trident submarines. We didn't take the chance. We shit their tartan pants. Wasn't me, it wasn't me. Wasn't me, wasn't me. Wasn't me. Who just signed away the future their wains. Wasn't me, wasn't me. You can't look them in the eye, cause you didn't even try. Wasn't me, it wasn't me. Who just put yourselves before the national health. Who thought there was no oil left in the sea. Who slaughtered their lies, your spineless 55. Wasn't me, it wasn't me. Wasn't me, wasn't me, wasn't me. Who believed the crap for the Labour-Tory pact? Wasn't me, wasn't me. The animals that pick on the disabled and the sick. Wasn't me, it wasn't me. We should be ashamed to call this land your hymn. We never had the common sense to see. We cowered down and bleated like a flock of frightened sheep. It wasn't me, it wasn't me. We slaughtered the lies, your spineless 55. It wasn't me, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
She used to come along. See, you lot at the front. Have you looked behind you? That's scary. Yeah. It's all right, they're on your side. Sean says I've been campaigning for independence pretty much all my life. I joined the SNP in 1962, as soon as I turned 12. And I've seen a few things. I've been through, so I remember the 1967, the Winnie Ewing's victory, Hamilton by-election, one I remember. I remember the arduous 2 UK elections of 1974, both in the winter. That wasn't bra. I remember the big Labour betrayal of 1979 and the Thatcher years that followed. But we got over all that. We got over it all. And here we are in May 2018. And May's quite a significant month because it was on the 12th of May 1999 that we got our Parliament back. And then it was there was an election on the 3rd of May 2007 that gave the British Party squatting in that Parliament a wee bit of a fright. Because then on the 11th of May, SNP government was sworn in. Somewhat inconveniently for my rhetoric, it was September before we finally got rid of the derogatory, the derisory Scottish executive, and Scotland got its first real government of the modern age. So there we are, a real parliament, a real government. And now that's all under threat. It is all in real and imminent danger. Over all those years that I was talking about, the 50-odd years that I've been part of this campaign for independence, I've felt many things. I felt great exhilaration. I've felt bitter disappointment. I've always felt quietly confident that we would succeed. We would be independent. Lately, I've felt something different. I've felt anger, and I've felt fear. I've felt anger at the British state's utter contempt for our Parliament, their disrespect of our government, and their disdain for our people. I've felt fear for what they will do if we do not stop them. They will destroy our Parliament. They will dismantle our democratic institutions. They will flog off our public services. I am angry and I am afraid. But I am not going to let my anger turn into wanton rage or undirected hate. I am not going to allow my fear to become tremulous hesitancy or paralysed inaction. I'm going to hold fast to my fear. I'm going to raise aloft my anger, and I am going to stand. I am going to make a stand against the juggernaut of anti-democratic, one-nation British nationalism which is threatening this country. I am going to make a stand. Will you stand with me? Will you stand for our Parliament? Will you stand for our government? Will you stand for our democracy? Will you stand for Scotland?
And some of them did some wonderful things. Built world-famous caring institutions with true ideas and values strong. They threw the red flag, they sang the red flag, they had a people's party singing people's songs. Viva la Quinta Brigada. No passaran the pledge they proudly made as they saluted their socialist forebearers, paid tribute to the sacrifices of the international brigades. Now this is your chance, self-appointed guardians of the labour movement's proud traditions. Do you hear the echoes of the days of 39? Now's your time to make a principled stance, now that Franco's spirit is on the rise. So where are you, Labour sisters and brothers? Were you watching that state-sponsored violence? Where were you who sang out brashly and bravely, now conspicuous by your contemptible silence? Where are those raised fists now, British Labour, at democracy in Europe being destroyed? Did you even raise a collective eyebrow, British Labour? Because we never even heard you raise your voice. Oh, the few dissenting individuals spoke up. The many stayed resolutely mute. Did you not want to condemn those shaven-headed Nazis that were reenacting fascist beatings and salutes? Or did you just decide that really you simply had more affinity with that other People's Party, Rajoy's establishment self-protectors, with their slush fund, their box B, their parallel accountancy, than becoming men and women for the grassroots communities? Was it when you ditched the red flag, defected to Thatcherism in your groves? Was that when you became the shrinking violets who preferred to wave the new red rose? We'll stand by our allies, the Tories today maintain, singing, they are our good friends, those right-wing rulers of Spain. Well, knowing my name. That's the same language their predecessors used to condone and shelter Pinochet. So sell us today, Party of the People, Labour, have you anything to say?
Thanks very much, Sean. Brothers and sisters, excuse what I'm going to say in a wee moment here, because I know there are some children here today. But Sean has asked us to do something which I think is impossible for the Indy family. Sean asked us to act like Tories. And to do that, you'd need to be cold, cruel, callous bastards. And I don't think we can be that. Brothers and sisters, well done to all under one banner and all of the grassroots Yes campaign who have realised quite clearly and categorically that we have something that has to be cherished, something that was won after a major battle, something that we believe is vitally important, and something that has to be used before it runs out. It's called a mandate. We have a mandate. And I think it's clear that the grassroots Yes movement recognises that what was secured at the Scottish Parliament election of 2016, when the people of Scotland knew what they were voting for, all of the Yes parties, SNP and all of the others, they said loud and clear, a vote for us is a vote for Indy Ref 2. That Parliament returned a Yes majority. That's why Nicola last year was able to stand up in the Parliament and so eloquently and so clearly explain that the Parliament now had the right to call Indy Ref 2 by September of this year or the spring of next year. Now, brothers and sisters, we're all part of the one family. We can all have different emphasis. We can all want to go to the same destination, Some of us might want to go there by bus, by bike, by car, but we're all in it together. We all want to get to independence. That's the important thing. Personally, I would rather that at the June conference, the SNP, which is the biggest constituent part of the Yes movement, is the political leadership of the Yes movement. I would prefer at the June conference that they announce we don't need a 12-month campaign. All we need is a short 3-month campaign. Let's go for September 2018. We know the arguments. And now, unlike 2014, now the people of Scotland don't just know the arguments. They know about the lies. They know about the distortions. They know how little the vow actually means. We have it within ourselves as a movement because we have what they don't have. We have genuine hope. We have genuine feeling, compassion. We have a genuine belief that Scotland could become something bigger and better. We know independence is never an end in itself. It's only the beginning of the journey to build a better, fairer Scotland. A Scotland that invests in its children, its elderly, its schools, its hospitals, not in nuclear bloody weapons that are illegal and immoral. I think the movement, the indie movement, brothers and sisters, has to ask that tactically we are prepared to recognise two things. Number one, that the mandate we have was fought for long and hard, and we should use it. But number two, we have a Scottish Parliament whose credibility, in my opinion, is on the line here. If you have a big debate in the Scottish Parliament, if you have a debate, you hear all the sides, and then you have a vote, and you win, it would be wrong then to ignore the will of the Scottish Parliament. Some people believe in the Offensive Behaviour at Football Act. Personally, I don't. But if the Scottish Parliament, after having a vote to repeal that piece of legislation, if the Scottish Parliament was to turn around and say, we're going to ignore the vote, there would be uproar. There would be an outcry because the Parliament had spoken. Brothers and sisters, it's the same in relation to Indie Ref 2. The Parliament has spoken. Please don't undermine the credibility of that Parliament, and please don't be swayed by the unionist narrative that tells you we don't have a majority. Brothers and sisters, in October 2013, 11 months before the referendum, the unionist media told us 25% of Scotland supported independence. 11 months later, 35% voted for independence. I'll finish in this point, brothers and sisters. Last time, we started at 25 and we won 45. This time, we start at 45. We can win 65. Thanks very much, brothers and sisters.
Hang about, people, hang about. We're a bit behind schedule because it took a long time for everybody to filter through. but we're here now, and we're going to have a good afternoon. We've got some cracking musicians and speakers still to come, some big names speaking to you. We've also got the Clanadonia guys coming back. We've got a legend that is Ted Christopher as well. But the next musician, it's a wee bit different. Most of our musicals are they've been round the block a few times, you know, all troubadours. Amanda's newer to it. In fact, it was the indie ref that gave her the kind of bottle to just get up and stand in front of people and sing her heart out. So she's going to do that for you. Got it? Amanda Brown.
Thanks. Can I get this a wee bit further down the song? Oh, okay. I'm just going to move this a little bit, just so kind of tall me. This is a bit scary. So it is. Right. Does anyone know the Graham Brown Band? I'm going to do this song because they're not here today, and I'm going to do it in their honour. And I'm not married to him or related, by the way, just so you know. Union Man said that you can't have a nation to hold. Union Man said that you can't have it on part of gold. Union Man said that you'll starve if you're old. Union Man said we can't have a nation to hold. Union Man said you'll be out in the cold and the dark. Union Man said that your land has no heart. Union Man said that it's all in the past. Union Man said beside you had your chance. So watch us rise to the sky. See the passion of freedom in your eyes. Oh, come on, it's a big crowd. We were lost in the light. Scotland holds, so watch us arise. Labour and Tory man tell us that we are too weak as we celebrate victories won by the man on TV. Too many questions and too many answers you'll see. Cheap points, fair stories and the lies by the BBC. I can see the road ahead. We are so close. We travel so far. This time everyone knows. We must say thanks to the ones who fought for this land. That's everybody here, by the way. Freedom for me and you, Alex the man. So watch us rise to the sky. See the passion of freedom in our eyes. We were lost in the lights. Scotland cold, so watch us arise. Stand in the square, show 'em you care, fly your flags. And if you're a no voter, join us, you won't be the last. Forget the old days, we
hands. So watch us rise into the sky. See the passion for freedom in our eyes. We were lost in our lives. Scotland calls, so watch us arise. Scotland calls, so watch us arise. Oh. Thanks so much. My fingers are a bit cold. Right. I'm going to do you another one. I know we're a bit restricted on time today, so... You might know this. A bit different. I don't know if you can see changes that have come over me these last few days. I've been afraid that it might slip away. So I've been telling the stories and sing the songs that made me think about where I came from. That's the reason why I seem so far away today. Knew you'd ask at some stage. I look forward to talking about it one day. Here's the story of a hopeful guess, because you're part of the reason that I voted yes. When I was your age, we had some discontent winters, like in the fairy tale, there was a witch of Westminster. The power and contrast of a comic book villain, who's passed away now, but we didn't say good riddance. Because by the time she passed, she was a feeble old lady, forgot what she was doing when she was going places. Always treat people how you'd like to be treated. The hurt and the anger she left was deep-seated. School, they stopped my free milk. Could be said in a wider context, they stopped my free will. Can always separate feelings from cold facts. On the school bus, I read graffiti saying no poll tax. Now in 1979, people voted to control their own reality. Didn't happen on a technicality. 97, they said it wouldn't work. But they suppose letting us try couldn't hurt. Now in 2014, they asked the question, do you want to be independent? I remember thinking if you didn't answer yes, we could be 18 before they'd ask us again. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and I'm going home. And if I might become a stranger, know that it will make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything ever had. This isn't about the colour of your skin, or where you were born, or who you call kin. It's about pure and simple geography, and caring for everyone responsibly. It's about people facing poverty with immunity, and building and supporting our communities. Too many people want off this path we're following, trying to change how we do politics. Responsibility and independence, leading by examples with the messages we're sending, character traits we want for our own kids one day. Why wouldn't you want them for your country? See, the older you get, the less you see things in black and white, and I'm just trying to do what I think is right. Simply voting yes, the problem isn't solved, but you can't change the world, taking no risk at all. Spin doctors spinning stories to control the plot, like Rumpelstiltskin spinning gold from straw, weaving webs like Charlotte's spider webs, and the trolls under the bridge became Cybermen. In a world recession, food banks and destitution, world war, turmoil and very little resolution, violence and terrorism, press withers cast their disillusions. I was part of a peaceful revolution. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and I'm going home. If I'm not becoming a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been the best friend I ever had. Sitting here before the fire, empty room, the forest fire, flames that couldn't get any higher. They weathered now, they've gone, and I'm steady thinking my way is clear, and I know what I will do tomorrow. Hands are shaking and kisses flown, and I will disappear. Some said the head our heads controlled by our hearts. Now you make your decisions by both and large. As for those who said our hearts were controlled by our heads, tell the story of the goose that laid the golden egg. Meaning sticking as we were was the safest bet. To me that was succumbing to playground threats. To me that wasn't making sense, because there's a possibility for real change instead. They say your home's where your heart is. From Urwally Shed to Doctor Who's TARDIS. It's also true that your heart's where your home is, and it won't be that long till you're grown with your own kids. Of course we had reservations, who didn't? Despite the white paper, Scotland's future isn't written. It's wrong that the politician should be the shepherd or the wolf, because that way they want you for your flesh or for your rule. The biggest triumph of the 21st century state was to convince us that having a dream was a cliche. 1% of the world has 90% of the wealth, and the system says to step on focus helping yourself. I hope you're hearing these thoughts in amazement, and inequities consigned to the history pages. I don't want to see another lost generation, rioted, frustrated and cross with their parents. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and I'm going home. If I'm not becoming a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything we've all ever had. Caledonia's been everything we've all ever had. Thank you very much, everyone.
She said she was nervous as well. That's Amanda, one of the Yes Clan. Get on the page.
There's no desire for independence here today, is there? You see, the polls keep telling us there's no desire for independence. The politicians tell us there's no desire for independence, but I see different. Now, they call me the last Jacobite, and I'll tell you why. I'm a walking, talking act of rebellion. This plague that's on my back, they outlawed in 1746, and they could still have me flogged for wearing it. That's on Wastemonster's rulebook. That flag that you see flying, that lying rampant, that royal flag of Scotland, to fly it you can still be flogged. That's still on the statute book. But worst of all, my friends, I'm wearing a white cockade in my hat, and I'm wearing a white rose on my breast, and I'm flying the white Jacobite rose, and believe it or not, they could still hang me for that. Let them try. Let them try. Now, folks, we've heard a lot of good speakers today, and I'll not deny it. But you know what I keep hearing? I keep hearing, wait, we'll tell him, hold on, we'll have another campaign. The campaign started today. The union died on the streets of Glasgow today. Now I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it. You see, you heard the folks from Catalonia, and you heard the guy from Germany, and you heard Gordon there, okay? See, I'll never run for office. I'm not a politician. I don't want to be. I don't want your offices. I don't want any position. When Scotland's free, I'll walk away into the night. But until then, now back in 1953, folk, there was a wee thing called the Scottish Covenant. And people went door to door, every town, every city, every village in this land. And they collected signatures. And when they had 2.1 million of those signatures, they put them in a van to Westminster. Well, you know, Westminster says that never happened. Even in Hollywood, they say it never happened. Well, feast your eyes. Because a wee old lady came up to me at the Court of Session in Edinburgh and thrust these 2 pages into my hands. Right there, folks, is 2 pages from the original Scottish Covenant of 1953. It proves Westminster a liar, and it proves that politicians know nothing. Do you want independence? Do you? Right, go and take it, and I'll tell you how we do it. A people's doorstep referendum. I want every one of you to get to know your neighbours. Just like the guy from Germany said, it's time to rebuild our communities. And you do that by talking to one another. So you ask your neighbour a simple question. Are you for Scottish independence? Because you see, I'm not a politician. I've no need to lie. In 2014, we did not have a referendum. We had a goddamn rigorendum. The real result was 60% for yes. And I'll tell you right now, the real turnout for yes in Scotland's about 70%. What the hell are they waiting for? What the hell are they waiting for? But they've got the game rigged, you see. They've got the game rigged. Look at what happened in Catalonia. They had a referendum, they declared independence, and they still said that's not enough. Okay? Door to door. I'll give you a central collation point. We'll organise it. You get me the signatures that can be verified against the electoral register, and then I'll show you what the Declaration of Arbroath was written for. Okay? Give me 2.5 million signatures and we'll just do it. We won't wait for mayhem. We won't wait for anyone. We will just do it. Get the vision in your heart, folks. Scotland is not the politicians. It's not the personalities or the celebrities. It's you and it's I. We are the people. We are the people. Now, if you're interested in a wee idea there, okay, spread the word. Spread the word. On the 9th of June at Bannockburn, to commemorate the death of the greatest king this land ever knew, Robert the Bruce, I will be launching the People's Doorstep referendum. To buy in, all you have to do is want Scottish independence. Now, is that no a good idea? Soralba, Gubra.
Right, folks, this is Independence Live. Come up here, Jordy. Get some of these people in here. These are the most important people. Give a wee wave to Independence Live. There's Geordie, he's been a stalwart independence campaign for many, many a long year. Kevin over the road there as well, sitting there. Give Kev a wee wave. That's it. Right, folks, I sung this song over in The Hague last year at an independence rally. And then I sung it in Berlin. And people at the rally were singing along, so there's no excuse why you can't sing along as well. It's a song called Independence Day. And the chorus goes, Independence Day, Independence Day. Yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. So if you remember that, just sing along the chorus, that'd be great, thank you. To tell me I was wrong. He said I was a dreamer. Well, I let him have his say. I said, yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. And when that day I'm dreaming of comes along for sure, we will have a country where all can be assured. A nation of equality, fairness and respect, and the government we vote for is a government we get on an Independence Day. An Independence Day. Yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. Well, I'm not anti-English, I'm not an Irish or the Welsh. I'm just dreaming of a country that distributes its wealth down to the people, have opportunity, where to change, lift themselves from the traps of poverty on our Independence Day. Come on, Independence Day. Yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. Independence Day. Independence Day. Yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. And I know that I am fortunate. I know well off I am compared to those in Syria or in the Palestine. I'm just dreaming of a country one day we'll be free to determine our own future and our people's destiny on Independence Day. An Independence Day. Yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. Your turn. Come on, sing it. Independence Day. Independence Day, Independence Day. Yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. Yeah, I was walking on the street today, still my yes badge on. Stranger, he approached me to tell me I was wrong. He said I was a dreamer, oh, well, I let him have his say. I say, yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of Independence Day. Thank you very much, thank you.
And hello to everybody who's watching on the live stream as well. Thanks for hanging about. It's getting a wee bit chilly. Let's have some fun. Who will stand and be one of 100? Who will fight for what is surely right? And tomorrow be able to walk free and tall, and tell your children you answered the call. My father died with Murray at the Gregor the Fourth. At Bannockburn I lost my eldest son. So I will fight for 3 men to hold what they have won. When Scotland needs 100, I will be one. I will stand and be one of 100. I will fight for what is surely right. And tomorrow I'll be able to walk free and tall and tell my children I answered the call. Frae the northeast I come with the pride of my clan, and I'll join with the men frae the west. We'll meet many good friends on the lowland plains, and those proud border men who stand guard of the south. And I will stand and be one of 100. I will fight for what is surely right. And tomorrow I'll be able to walk free and tall and tell my children I answered the call. We fight not for honour or glory, for in killing a man there is none. We fight not for riches or to conquer, but for Scotland and freedom alone. I will stand and be one of 100. I will fight for what is surely right. And tomorrow I'll be able to walk free and tall and tell my children I answered the call. So if under the saltire I should fall, tell my children I answered the call. Thanks very much.
Next tune we're going to do, take a hat off. Next tune we're going to do is called Hamster Heat.